When I was planning this video, I wasn't sure which body parts I wanted to cover first, but because so many people here on YouTube and also Instagram have been saying my arms are what they noticed the most, I figured we'd start with that. There was a lot of new exercises and a bunch of new training techniques Paul has used with me that I could go over with you, and we'll do that over this series. But I wanted to give you my favorite exercise that Paul has a new variation on. And a lot of people know about 21s for arms, okay? And you can do these for a lot of different muscle groups, but the most common form of 21s for biceps that I've seen is where when people do a half rep like this, and then they do a half rep like this, and then they do a full rep like this, 7 in each one. And even I have tried that in the past, but the thing that I noticed about that is that, first of all, when you're doing the top half rep, you don't even fucking feel it. Like, this is a waist. It's more of a forearm thing than bicep. And also, I feel like when you're doing the bottom half rep, you get just enough to where it does nothing. And the last part, the last full rep, is really where you get the most benefit. So what Paul did is, instead of doing partial reps and partial ranges of motion, he had me use a full range of motion for 3 different curl variations. And Rico's gonna overlay footage of me doing this so you can see exactly how it's done. Basically, here's how we do it. The first variation is a normal dumbbell alternating curl. But this is the most important part, is I'm not starting with both arms at the bottom. I actually start with both arms at the top of the movement, because when I'm alternating here, that means the arm at the top is constantly contracting the bicep to prevent the dumbbell from going down, which allows you to get more stimulating reps more quickly because it's fatiguing out faster. So I do that for 7 reps per arm. Then I switch to hammer curls in the exact same way, both arms starting at the top and alternating hammer curls while having a little bit of tension at the top of the rep for the arm that's staying at the top. And then the final variation is Zottman curls. And these are brutal. It's not alternating. Start at the bottom and you come up with your palms facing up, and at the very top of the movement, you then rotate your wrists over in towards each other. So now you're doing a reverse curl on the way down, and you do that for 7 reps. So you do 7 regular curls, 7 hammer curls, 7 Zottman curls for 21, full range of motion in every variation. You do this, all you need is 2 sets. 2 sets at the end of your workout. That's more than enough to get enough stimulating reps in for your biceps, and your arms will be toast. Now, going on to glutes, one thing I want to talk to you about, that most people, when they're doing hip thrusts, they don't consciously think about what's going on with their abs. And this is something Paul said to me the very first day that we started working together that was very interesting to me. And because I come from an athletic background, I did it without thinking. But once he said it, it made a lot more sense. And that's why I really wanted to relay this to you, because I think this is one of the most important lessons I've learned from Paul, especially when you're training your glutes and you're doing hip thrust variations, which are right now arguably the most popularized exercise for your glutes. And what Paul told me was, if you're not contracting your abs as hard as you can while you're doing especially heavy hip thrusts, then you're not going to be able to recruit your glutes as effectively as you possibly could. There are a number of reasons for this, but very basically, if your abs are not contracting, then you're not stabilizing your pelvis. And if you're not stabilizing your pelvis, then your glutes aren't gonna be able to contract as hard. And that's why a lot of times people feel their hamstrings instead of feeling their glutes work. And also sometimes people feel their lower back because they're arching their lower back really hard rather than flexing their abs, bracing their core, and using their glutes. So what I really want you to focus on when you're doing hip thrusts is make sure you're not in a hyperextended position with your lower back. You wanna get your ribs down and abs tight, okay? Squeeze here and really focus with a slow and controlled motion, squeezing your glutes as hard as you can while you squeeze your abs. And even right now, if you wanna give this a shot, do a glute bridge on the floor. Let your abs be relaxed and not contracted. Do a glute bridge and then squeeze your abs really, really hard as you possibly can, and do a glute bridge. You're gonna notice a massive difference in how hard you can contract your glutes. And of course, as you get stronger and lift more weights, it's gonna help you recruit more muscle fiber more quickly, so that again, you don't need outrageous amounts of volume in order to achieve your muscle gain goals.